we are coming off the heels of King of the Ring 1996 and a really huge moment from your run with the WWF that year with the Austin 316 promo. Jake, you were set to take on Mankind at International Incident, but missed the pay-per-view, and Henry Godwin is going to come in and replace you for the match. There's a video out there floating around of a great promo that you cut on the way to International Incident, and you'll say on TV after the pay-per-view that you missed because of an injury. Jake, do you remember if that was the real reason or just storyline?
I cannot remember. I can't remember.
We're talking about 28 years ago, so it's certainly understandable. I have to believe that after King of the Ring, you had worked with Vader there.
That might be a problem I had.
Yeah, after working with Vader, I have a feeling that you may have been injured.
Yeah, I think I was.
Well, Mankind pretty hot during this time, coming off a win against The Undertaker, which is something that rarely happened in this era. He made his debut the night after WrestleMania 12, where he attacked Taker and left him laying in the middle of the aisle after flying elbow from the apron to the floor. Probably one of his most spectacular, but also most damaging to his body type moves. That elbow drop he used to do down to the floor, which is crazy, landing on your hip like that. You had spent time with Mick in WCW a few years prior to this, of course. What did you think of his new dark character here on the biggest stage in all of wrestling?
Oh, I loved the character, man. I thought it was awesome. Really did. I thought he played it well.
He did. It's interesting. It's kind of a weird name, kind of a weird look, but like, man, that kind of dark, interesting character, all of a sudden it gives this guy some new layers and, a good way to repackage, reinvent Cactus Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, he's coming in with a nice push here out of the gate. When you met Mick, did you view him as a guy with the potential to do big things, with the right creative, or did you not see that in him right away?
Oh yeah, I knew right away when I met him in WCW that he's going to be something special.
Was it his ring skill or like his mic work or what stuck out about Mick?
It was just his being, man. Just the way he carried himself and his look. He has a dirty, nasty look,
and
kind of scary.
He does, and that's probably another reason why the Mankind character really kind of jived well with him.
Yep.
I know that you were on the creative team at the time, and it does make me wonder, do you recall if the plan was for yourself and Mick to have more of a program, or was this just kind of like a one-off on the way to you and Lawler?
It was a one-off.
Oh, okay. Now, yourself and Mick, it kind of cut from the same cloth from like a promo type standpoint in many regards. He tends to be a little bit louder, but he'll go dark and all that stuff. Did you and Mick ever kind of discuss promos?
Sure, we did.
And was he like asking your advice?
My 2 cents worth, and I believe I directed him on a few promos.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you were literally behind the camera in like the boiler room?
Yeah.
How about that? I didn't know that was part of your duties there.
Yeah. Boiler room is exactly where we did it.
That's amazing. Now, is this your first kind of foray into being behind the camera and telling people what to do?
Well, I'd helped several people before, but yeah, this was first big time.
Man, that's really incredible that you did that. Do you remember if you were behind the camera for any other talents moving forward?
I was, but I can't remember who it was.
The fact that Vince, who's like a notorious micromanager of everything that goes on his TV, is saying like, "Hey Jake, can you come in and help with creative? Hey Jake, can you help us shoot a vignette?" Like, it does really go to show that the guy, for all of his faults, he had a lot of faith in you.
Yeah, he liked my work, man. He just didn't like me.
Now, are you saying that tongue in cheek, like he didn't like me, like you didn't get the kind of money that you wanted, or do you feel like Vince McMahon legitimately did not like you?
No, I think he liked me a lot. He just couldn't figure me out.
I gotcha. So a lot of talents are kind of predictable. It's like you give them money, you give them good creative, they're pretty satisfied. But a lot of time, you were a little bit more of a deep thinker, right?
Yeah, I was. Sure was.
Well, Jim Ross has said before when talking about this period that he can't picture a scenario where experienced veterans like yourself and Lawler would have anything other than good matches. With that being said, do you feel like maybe things would have gone better if you had gone into a program with Mankind here during this time instead?
Well, I know the Lawler thing sucked in a big way,
Hmm.
and for many different reasons. Uh, it was just bullshit. And even Lawler told me later that he hated doing it, did not want to be a part of it, but it was Vince's twisted mind that enjoyed that.
It was tasteless, yes. And we're gonna get into that here in a minute, in a little bit more detail, so that people who aren't really familiar with the story can familiarize themselves before maybe going back and watching the match. Mick has said that the two of you traveled and shared hotel rooms at times during this period. Would you say that you considered Mick a friend during this period?
Absolutely, absolutely, we got along well.
And again, in his own right, Mick is, he's spent a lot of years in wrestling to this point. He's like, he's made it to the biggest stage in wrestling. So obviously he's really got something and he's starting to kind of come into his own. But that being said, you have a big experience edge on him. Would you say that Mick was kind of picking your brain during these road trips?
Oh yeah, yeah, we talked a lot, man, which I enjoy doing. And it's my luck to be able to absorb so much from so many different great pieces of talent that I passed along the way.
Hmm.
My duty to share that, and I shared a lot with Mick.
You can definitely see it in his work. So it's interesting to watch him as he progresses during this period too, because again, there's real shades of 1991 sinister Jake Roberts in there.
Yeah, yeah, you can see it.
Now, on the flip side of that, Jake, would you say, because I think it was actually you who told me before that as a wrestler, you never really stop learning. You're always picking up new stuff along the way. Would you say that Mick taught you anything or showed you anything?
Yeah, he showed me a lot of what not to do. Any of that high impact shit.
Are you like trying to get in his ear, if you will? I know he's only got one ear. Are you trying to get in his ear a little bit about like, hey, brother, why don't you try to extend your fucking career a little bit?
I believe I told him he should extend his life a little bit.
Yeah.
Career, because he was doing some of that silly shit, some of that crazy shit. But he was doing what he thought he had to do to keep that level for him.
Stay over.
Yeah.
Jake, have you ever seen Mick do his Nestea plunge where he's on the outside of the apron and falls flat back to the outside of the ring?
No.
So have you ever heard about this bump that he was doing?
No.
He would do that regularly during his time in WCW, and I believe did it a few times when he was in WWE. But it's notable in WCW during that period because, again, Bill Watts came in and said, like, you don't have mats on the outside. This is wrestling. And he pulled up those mats, so it's bare concrete. And Mick was flat backing from the ring to the floor. Uh, I mean, holy shit. How is this guy still alive?
Uh, got one on me, brother.
Is there any amount of money that somebody could offer you to take a flat back like that?
No, there's no reason to do it.
There is not. You get a big ooh and ah from the audience, and then you move on with the match. No, thank you.
Somebody in the audience is trying to figure out how we fake that.
Yep, they're always like, oh, these guys know how to fall. It's like, oof, can't really fake that one, brother. You can tuck your chin so your head doesn't bounce, but you're still flat backing on concrete from whatever 3 feet up.
Concrete from 10 feet.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Last thing on Mick, in your opinion, more money in Mankind character or him as Cactus Jack?
Mankind.
I'm with you. I like Cactus Jack, but Mankind kind of popped off the screen a little more.